Oh, I was going to put the aircon on, but I might
No, it's cold.
It's cold.
It's cold.
I don't have any notes for this one.
No.
So just chat.
Dive in. So,
do you want to introduce the episode?
Reasons why we're moving to America.
That is pre-titled, decision made.
Yeah.
Being like, right, guys, just so you know, we're out.
We're out.
Like, we're done.
But ironically, I want to start with reasons why we're not moving to America. The coffee.
Well, hold on. Let's before we fucking jump in.
No, like, I've missed this.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously, first of all, they can't see that you're drinking coffee if they're not potentially watching the video.
I wouldn't recommend watching the video either.
This is really not the start I was hoping for the episode.
Oh, soz.
No, but contextually, because not everyone knows, not everyone follows our lives like we're some sort of influencers. We've just been to America.
Yes.
For 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we did a little bit of a tour and we were traveling across. And so we were asked, which is actually kind of nice, asked to do an episode to recap.
Oh, who asked?
You think this is just...
No one.
I decided. We got asked by Alice, who was the person that suggested we do this episode. Someone messaged us and was like, you should do it. No, someone messaged me and said, you should do a America. Oh, Cleo. Cleo said you guys should do an American recap video. So I figured we'd just do a bit of a cultural comparison.
Oh, yeah.
Of like, and we won't talk about the entire trip because fuck me, I don't want to talk about the fact that there's things that don't matter. Like, I'm not going to move out there for Joshua Tree. We're talking fitness culture and gym culture.
We'll keep it strength related.
To some degree. Okay. And then we'll tangent and not give a fuck because it's my podcast. And if you're listening this far, you've done like 12 episodes.
Yeah.
I think, at some point I need to post like mini anniversary of the Strength Studio. Yeah. But anyway, so we did 2 weeks. What did we do? Where did we go? Well,
I think originally we were like, oh, let's just go for a holiday. Sort of. Because America opened back up. And
explain what you actually mean by that.
I couldn't go to America.
When you say it opened back up?
There's no COVID restrictions.
Yeah. Beforehand, if you hadn't had both jabs and a booster, I think.
I don't know.
You couldn't go into America.
It was really strict for a really long time. And so we'd actually planned, I think, not actually planned, but we were thinking we'd go to Mexico this year.
You mean actually planned?
There were no plans.
But there were no bookings for America either.
No.
If you're a person who books holidays, how we did it would probably stress you out.
So much.
I mean, an unbelievable amount. And it would be fair.
Yeah.
We booked flights.
I was only slightly stressed.
A week and a half before.
Yeah, probably.
We booked accommodation the week of.
Yeah.
And then we booked cars during.
The car, do you know what? The cars were, it's not even worth it. Yeah. So we thought we'd go for a holiday, but somewhere that you've always wanted to go as well is Alphaland. And by always, I mean since it opened like 2 years ago. Yeah,
so if you don't actually know what Alphaland is, so Christian Guzman, who was, again for context, was initially a Gymshark athlete. Then he started Alphalete on his own. Christian's like long-term YouTuber, and for a lot of the fucking
like
modern
OG.
Yeah, like a lot of the modern day people who watch YouTube and stuff, you know, people like Calgary Barbell, TSA stuff who are on it, but you don't know that when YouTube started, there were like 5 people who were big in fitness because no one's doing YouTube because it was new. Christian Guzman, Nick Wright, Max Tuning, Scott Ham, like there were a few names, but Christian was really, really early in the YouTube game. And so when he started his own stuff, I followed him for a full decade.
Yeah.
There was then in Belly Furious Pete.
I didn't follow him, but I did follow Nikki.
And Nikki Blacketta, yeah, obviously was his ex-girlfriend. But he was just like a real entrepreneur in a lot of stuff with fitness. And then when he opened Alphaland, which was cost him like $4 million to open, to get the site and then to build it internally, I wanted to go there the entire,
because it's insane. There's nothing else like it.
And it's not even the fact that I was like, oh, I want to train in there. That gym kit's so cool. I don't actually care about that. It was, I want to be in the environment that someone who's truly creative and truly leading the industry made. So I wanted to do Alphaland. Yeah. And it was like, well, we could do Alphaland, but we're not doing 2 weeks for a gym because we'll just train and do nothing else. Like the fuck else are we going to do?
In Texas.
And then the beginning of the trip was Philly.
Yeah, so that was another one that we added in. I say last minute, none of it was really planned or booked. We decided we wanted to go visit Rachel Basura and train at Powerbuild, which is one of the gyms that she doesn't actually train there all the time, turns out. But one that
thought she did.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was just because that was the gym that I recognised, or it stood out in her videos.
And she can kind of vouch that we didn't plan that very well, because she was like, I didn't know what you guys were going to do. You just showed up. I was like, yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so we thought, right, well then let's go to the East Coast, go to Philadelphia, and then let's go on down south to Texas.
I have no idea where anything was.
I think it's south.
Okay.
And then let's go over to the West Coast and go to Los Angeles.
And Los Angeles was predominantly somewhere you'd been before.
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain I'd been.
I'd wanted to go back for so long.
But you really wanted to go back.
Yeah.
It was actually initially why you wanted to do America. To do LA again.
Yeah.
So we did all three. But because like we're both gym people, we were going to train no matter what.
Yeah, you know when people are like, oh, can't you just like take a week off? I'm like, well, then it's not a holiday.
Like, I love training.
Yeah.
Taking that away from me.
It's a punishment.
Yeah, literally. Like, if there's shit that you... Like, God, if you're a gym person, you actually get this. But it's the fucking most annoying thing. And it was my family always used to do this. It was like, you're on holiday, you don't need to go to the gym. And I was like, but I love gym.
Yeah.
I love gym.
I love gym. I love lamp.
And the idea of not doing it, I was like, well, then that sounds like a worse week.
Exactly.
So, obviously, we planned around that.
Yeah.
Alphaland was going to be the core. Powerbuild was the other one. And then LA, I was like, oh, no way, but that's Barbell Brigade.
Yeah.
And again, if you're a fucking newbie, you don't know this. And I just want you to know that if you don't know these places or these people, you are a child in fitness. Like, these people are like, I've been in the game for like 2 years. I'm like, I have run training cycles longer than you've been in the fucking industry. No, I haven't. That'd be insane. Imagine 2 years of one training cycle.
That'd be real boring.
But like the beginning of fitness, the first like influencer gym that kind of made an impression was with Barbell Brigade. They started their clothing line. They're a big deal. There's Bart Kwan and Gio Antoinette, who were a couple who started it. Big deal in their own right. Amazing people. And I was like, oh, we could just drop by that gym.
Yeah.
And didn't think we'd meet them. So anyway, the point being, these are the gyms we went to. This is what we were going to do.
Like a lot of the trip was centered around training and gyms.
Yeah. Now, what we didn't really put time into is like, how did we think it would be as an environment and a culture to train within for us?
Yeah.
It was just, we just want to see these places and we'll train and do our thing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, first of all, Powerbuild, which is in Philadelphia, or King of Prussia, which is near Philadelphia. Like, first of all, you walk in and it's fucking cool.
It's huge.
It's huge. And
which in itself, by the way, people don't appreciate how big. So like, you go powerlifting gyms in England.
They're tiny.
They're the size of this studio.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's a powerlifting gym because you have 2 racks.
Yeah.
A powerlifting gym in America, which actually has powerlifting. Oh my God, if you just fucking run that you're part of the BP and it's the biggest thing in the powerlifting world, you are the smallest community on the planet.
Oh yeah,
it's tiny. And then you walk into Powerbuild and the front desk space alone with a table tennis table.
There are so many strong people in that gym. It's unreal. Like, even now, followed a couple of the girls that I met out there, and like, they share each other all the time, and I'm just like, how are there this many strong people? Like, you see maybe one of those at a competition in the UK.
One, you go to a regional and you're like, there's one fucker. You're like, oh my God, you're really cool. Everyone else is getting to a standard.
Yeah, and it's just insane. And I remember walking in and being like, there are more combo racks here than we have in the entire south coast of England.
We literally said that to Rachel, like the amount of racks across the back of that room, which must have been in total like
I think there
8,
were
9.
5 or 6 across the back, and then 2 others, and then of course there's other places that they had other benches.
Yeah, multiple rigs and multiple other power racks and
combo
stuff.
Combo racks.
Just combos.
Which is.
And then it was, is it 2 layers of deadlift platforms, 5 across?
I don't know. Yeah, like maybe 5, 4.
I think it would have been 5 to match the other 5, and then doubled up. Yeah. So there's 10 deadlift platforms, all with comp plates available. Like the entire bit of comp plates. Like, you go to Dream, and Dream is considered to be the gym that has powerlifting kit that's good in the south. Just to clarify, it has 1 lot of Alico plate. I have more Rogue plates in this room than Dream has comp plates. Yeah. This is probably the most equipped gym in the fucking south. Yeah. But there's a number of things you really kept there, which is size of the gym. Yeah. Everyone shares each other. Yeah. The amount of strong people. Yeah. So like, we'll just cover those first. Amount of strong people. It's so nice being a small fish. Like, a lot of people, you probably are.
I'm a weak little bitch.
Like, there's a number of people listening to this. I just want you to know, you're a small fish and it's good for you. Like, it's important to be a small fish. Yeah. I train at Dream and I'm like, I don't feel like a small fish. I don't get out deadlifted. I don't get out benched. Yeah. I do get out squatted because I'm shit at it, so fair enough. Connor, you're a piece of shit. It's only him and Gabriel, but I coach him, so I'll change his program. But the amount of strong people, you turn up, there's no dude lifting less than 200. Yeah. Like, that's a minimum. There are a number of girls lifting over 200.
The red plates I'm seeing on those girls' barbells.
Jumps alone. Seeing a bar loaded at 70, first jump, second to 120.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Like, and the second a girl goes 70, 120, you're like, bitch, where are you going? Yeah. Although the girl at Barbell Brigade who went 70, 120, top set 125, was like, you just don't have to warm up.
That's interesting.
That was different.
But anyway.
But yeah, like, everyone is a powerlifter.
Yeah.
And I said to you, because we were talking about like DBD's growth, if you go to Dream, there are about a dozen powerlifters. I know because we coach them. If you go, we DBD. Yeah. You're not part of it. You have spaces, no clients.
No clients, only spaces.
If you go to that gym, it's a real powerlifter, which means everyone is a powerlifter. There were some bodybuilder boys in there, but I mean like 60% at least of the entire client base is a powerlifter. So you're around people who get it, which means that everyone's respectful. Everyone can give a handout. Everyone can give a spot. Yeah. That small shit I didn't even, because I didn't ask for a spot or a handout, to be fair, so you. But you could ask anyone. Yeah,
and they would know what they're doing. And also the fact that it's combo racks, not that we needed to share with anyone because there were so many, but like it makes it so much easier to share racks. I
will call a negative on that though, and it was from Barbell Brigade. The whole like, so a powerlifting culture you don't see in England, which is like, if it's a combo rack, you're going to share it because we don't have many. Yeah. They're clearly more used to it. So there's these fuckers like dibsying racks.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a fallout with anyone, but I got very annoyed at this lad being like, yeah, I'm on that. And then half an hour after his mobility work, he used the bar. And I was like, I waited I could have finished most of my work by now. And it's a combo rack, we can share.
Yeah.
But that's a clear bit of culture that you only get when you've got an abundance of kit. So new to me.
Yeah.
But like you say, every one of those racks is combo. So if you don't know what that means, why are you on this podcast? You can share the rack.
But
you
also
can adjust
it breeds a more supportive environment because gyms in the UK, very much you keep yourself to yourself. You don't want to bother anyone. You don't want to interrupt them. Whereas like if it's something you can share and you're both powerlifters and you get it.
And for content, like you say about not bothering people. So like I go into Dream, unless you're one of the powerlifting gang, I don't talk to you. People don't talk to each other at all.
I talk to a few people, but...
Okay, all right, you're better than me, I get it. But if you go, when we went into Barbell Brigade, I made friends.
Yeah.
So fast. I started working with that girl. I've made two lads, one who I hugged to say goodbye on the last day. Yeah. Mike, who's a lovely guy. Yeah. The kid who I said goodbye to on the last day, who I said hello to in the same sentence. So I was like, it just said, hey, how are you doing? Then he asked about numbers, we chatted, lovely. Then said goodbye. He must have weighed my body weight. I had him on Instagram. He benched 160 yesterday.
Really?
The fuck is this kid? And he just wasn't anyone.
Yeah.
He's just another powerlifter there. And I'm like, you're fucking strong.
Yeah.
So the amount of strong people is a big one. And I find that a great environment to be in. In UK, I hate that there aren't that many people around. And then some dickhead listening to this will be like, but there are incredibly strong athletes who are stronger than you. Yes, there are. I'm just saying, there's like 6 of them.
Yeah.
Like in the country.
And even if you saw them in a gym, they probably wouldn't talk to you.
To clarify, I meant in my weight class before anyone gets like a dick. There are 6 people in the country stronger than me in my weight class. I meant in the rest of the fucking game. But yeah, and then the amount of girls, so what's really cool, so I probably followed 40 people the entire time we were out there. I would say I've seen at least 4 women pull over 200 for reps.
Yeah.
That's mad. In England, like I could name some women who do, and I'll be able to do that because they are like top in the BP. Like I'd say Erho Love, Sophia Ellis, quickly.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, who else has pulled over 200?
But these are Lucy. Just almost, like, I don't want to downplay them. They're just normal girls.
Like these girls who like, they've got a K following, so they're no big deal, and they've got no title in a federation, because the ones who I know who pull over 200 is like Lucy, okay, she's national champ like 5 times in a row. Erho Love, she's like European and she's like a world standard lifter. I'm naming the best there are in the BP. Go to America, I'm just naming fucking Carol.
Yeah.
Like some bitch.
Deborah.
It's always Deborah. So that was mad and a lovely part of just seeing the standard.
Yeah. And then, also with that, there's like a little bit more humility, like they're a bit more humble.
Oh,
they don't prance around knowing that they're the best or that they're well supported.
There was like 1 or 2 guys, like you're gonna get it. It's in any sport, because there's that lad who I spoke to you and I was like, oh, him as well. Oh. He's a dick, but he was also like a midget, so he had his own problems. He was like the smallest little lifter who had the biggest arrogance about him. I'm like, is this what people think I am?
Yes.
Napoleon. Fuck you. Yeah, he had a Napoleon complex. But the lad who, he was like, I'm going to hit this, and I'm going to out-toe Austin Perkins, blah, blah. And I was like, you're nothing. And then I saw his profile, and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? That Nabil boy.
Yeah.
Who had like a 360 deadlift, and he looked like a rake.
Yeah, when you pointed him out and were telling me what he was saying, I was like...
Maybe just being arrogant. And I was like, no, it turns out he's incredible.
Actually, that's legit.
But, yeah, the amount of strong people is cool. The size of the gym is another thing I just like wanted to point out of, because everyone engaged with everyone. It's a massive place. You don't feel like you're treading on anyone's toes.
No.
But you can't, one of the reasons you can't get that in England is the property cost.
Yes.
So we've looked at opening gyms.
The cost of properties, and if you want anything of a decent size, it is astronomical. Like the prices of property in the UK is unreal, and land.
Whereas you go to Texas and you buy a chunk of land, like they all had these warehouses that were like, so that Powerbuild compared to Dream is probably 4 times the size of the downstairs. You think it had that entire front area, the whole mid bit, the entire back end?
I don't know, I can't.
I'll say 2.5 to 3 times. Like that's massive, because Dream is big.
Yeah.
And you can't get that in England. And I think that's something that we're just going to struggle to replicate. Like you're not going to see powerlifting gyms that scale. The only one I know of is, what's it called? Something PB Performance in Wales. That is huge, but it's in Wales.
Yeah, I think even Welsh property is not as expensive. Because I remember one of the units that we looked at, and it's...
Are you thinking of the garage complex?
Yeah, it's costed like per square foot.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it's just...
It's mad.
It's mad. I remember we went to one place and they don't always have the prices on them. There was another one that we went to in Worthing.
Yeah.
And then when we asked them what's it up for,
was that
it's like over $1 million.
Yeah, there's literally
and we were literally like, oh.
You know that bit where you try to do the like, it's like people have probably done on things like coaching calls, or like, so how much is your service? And they're like £250. You're like, oh, okay, that's really interesting. Let me pretend I have more questions.
And we're like, okay.
Because I'm clearly not going to buy this.
At that point, it was a straight no. But
we're like, okay, we'll just fucking leave then. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, because obviously, size is one thing, the amount of strong people, but culture as a whole, to appreciate training and coaching and fitness in America compared to, like, America gets a rap for having the most fat people, and as what's his name, the comedian Daniel Sloss points out, that unlike English people, when they're fat, they're impressive. Like there's like the whole I'ma get me that scooter, but like the fitness realm,
I think
they take sport so like you got to think their baseball, which baseball, the Super Bowl, like some of the biggest viewed sporting events on the planet that are solely in America. Like they take sport so seriously. They're like patriotic for their competing for their country. It means something. GB lifters, just for love. None of you even know the national anthem. I can tell because none of you fucking sing it. No one even mouthed it. Not even
GB singlet.
Yeah, which some of them are buying online. There's no, like, the investment of sport in America and in coaching in America. Like, every fucker's got a coach because that's what you do in sport.
Yeah.
I think
and they're used to paying a lot more money as well. Like, you know, from the American coaches that you've had, like, it's a lot more expensive.
Holy shit, like...
It's respected a lot more as a profession.
My top end that I charge now is 50% of some of the top end coaches in America.
Yeah.
Which is mad. Because I've seen the service they offer. Yeah. But the culture of like taking lifting more seriously and taking training seriously, like pushing each other and actually like that. So for instance, how long some of them are willing to be in the gym.
Oh, literally, I was just thinking that. I was going to say, like, in the UK, it seems very much people want to get in and out as quickly as possible. And don't get me wrong, like, if you've got lives, you've got a busy life, and you know, not everyone, when the environment's not that pleasant, you don't want to be in there for too long. I know that if I go to the gym and I'm waiting ages for kit, I start being like, do you know what? It's not that I don't want to train, I'm just sick of being here. But they're willing to spend the time. Like, they spend hours in the gym. And
I will say that's not just credit to them, but that's credit to, like, so Barbara Brigade. We just went and sat on that wall and we were there because the environment allowed you to feel comfortable being there.
Yeah.
In Powerbuild, there's sofas and a table tennis. You could go chill. In Alphaland, there's fucking restaurant and there's, like, sofa space. You can go chill all day. 2
full-size basketball courts, a volleyball court, a football pitch.
I genuinely think if you sent me there in the morning at 9 a.m, I would go to the thing, work for a while, have some food, start training at 12 till 3 I'd probably train, 3 till 4, have food again, and then maybe go play basketball for a bit. I could be there genuinely from 9 a.m. till probably 7 p.m. and not bat an eyelid. Whereas you go to any gym in England,
don't want to spend that long.
If you get a table and chairs,
okay.
that's fucking amazing. That just doesn't happen, which is shit. And I think the culture is built around like people who want to be in that environment for a longer amount of time.
Yeah.
And like you say, so people are like, okay, you've got a full-time job. Take Rachel. Rachel has a full-time job and she has to travel. It takes an hour to get to that gym and she'll train for 4 hours.
Yeah. And you know it's not taking her that long, but it's because
she's chatty bitch. Yeah. She will talk the entire time.
I remember, so day one, she had a bit of car trouble. And we were like...
Car trouble? She nearly fucking died.
Yeah, we were like, I don't think she's real. I don't think she's a real person. Everything about her just feels too good.
And well, that's something to mention as well, like why we thought she was fake, but actually loads of them are like that.
Yeah.
So when we first met Rach, spoke to Rachel.
Yeah.
I thought she was a coach of everyone because she shared every person.
She shares hypes everyone up.
Like so much hype.
Yeah.
And oh my God, it was lovely to watch. And I was like, oh my God, she must be a coach of all these athletes. Turns out not one of them. She's not a coach at all. She wasn't at that point a coach at all. I think one day she will become one. And I was like, oh, she's just so lovely. I followed this 40-odd people. They all do it. And this is right. So I have made this point that in the UK, and I'm going to say especially BP again, and everyone thinks I've got an issue against the BP. I just want to be clear, I do. The BP, you share 3 lifters. You share probably Annie Nelson, and you'll share...
Everyone's sharing her right now.
It's because she's hit like 3 PBs, and there's no one else to share. They share Annie Nelson, they'll share like one of the young lads, and probably Joey... I've forgotten his name. Like 3 clout lifters. And then once people actually compete, there's some of the people that they care about, and probably 1 or 2 friends. That's it, not really anymore. Like Cleo posted her 170 squat, that got quite a few shares.
Yeah.
But that's a rarity. Whereas they will share almost every post, of each other. Like someone just does a training session that's good, that they're happy with, everyone shares it.
Yeah.
That is community. And that's why I fucking hate the just sharing the clouty lifter to show that you think you're friends with, like they're not. You don't even know them, they don't care about you.
The person doesn't like you.
The person doesn't know you exist.
Yeah.
And whereas they genuinely have a powerlifting community, that is at its core the thing I talk about, which I found really validating. That I'm not just full of shit, that I'm not just getting gripe about something that's not real. It showed me exactly what I'm talking about.
And also, they breed really strong people, so...
There's more of them
people
to get
who are
hyped
like,
about.
community doesn't matter, or like it's a solo sport or individual sport, is that what you call it? I'm like, but clearly it makes a difference.
If you say that, you're probably English. Because I guarantee there's not many American lifters saying it. Like every one of them, take number 1 lifter on the planet right now, Austin Perkins, who has just hit like the all-time total and dot score, beaten Taylor Atwood. He has trained at Game Day Barbell with a load of other lifters and his partner, and he has a community. I guarantee if he posted saying fuck the community, his friends and that community would be really offended.
Yeah.
The people who say like no one cares, which I hate as a sentence, is such a dismissive thing and just tells me you don't actually invest in community. You don't support people around. I don't like it.
Yeah.
If you have a good community, I think it makes you stronger. I think it makes a big impression on your training.
Absolutely. When you got that many people rooting for you, and like, so Rachel Basura, who is going to be coaching, I'm like, how can you not succeed when you've got someone like her behind you? Like, even if she wasn't good at programming, just that positive talk, like,
honestly,
that, you'll improve just from that.
I've said this to you in passing, and this is a test. Rachel, if you listen to this, like, if she becomes a coach, I'm going to say to her, like, hey, if you ever want to come work with a brand, because like that's the person, that's the environment, that's the community, that's the ethos that I think matters. And that was probably one of the biggest things in America. And to continue that culture, talk about alphaland.
Yeah.
So one of the big bits of culture in the UK is like getting into the online scene. However people feel about social media, it's a fucking thing.
Yeah.
So you got 3 gyms. You got gym 1, which is kind of just like a bit more bodybuildering-y.
Yeah.
I don't know what word I just used.
I don't know either. But like gym 1,
Bodybuildering.
like simple rules, like you have to keep your t-shirt on in that gym.
Yeah.
Which I fucking love. I really like that. I love that there's different spaces for different types of people.
So to clarify, gym 1, which is the bodybuilding style, a little bit of powerlifting kit in there, but predominantly bodybuilding.
Yeah, fully air conditioned as well.
Fully air conditioned, which you don't realise is a thing until the next gym is open door, 34 degrees on a hot day, and it's Houston, Texas. They have heat waves.
Yeah, they have a huge fan on the ceiling, but it's so hot. It's still very hot.
But it has the powerlifting kit in there.
Yeah.
no t-shirts if you want to, and you can tell that's the influencer gym. He's made a point of it. There's big mirrors in places. The outside bit there is mirrored as well. And then there's gym 3, which is there's a mirrored room at the back, but that is the
posing room.
Yeah, posing room at the back. But there's go train. But that's what that gym is for. That's the original rebuild.
There.
Yeah.
It's small, there's no music, there's a little outdoor bit. But the outdoor space as well. So you briefly mentioned the outdoor mirrors and stuff. There is a whole track down the side of gym 2 and a whole yard with outdoor equipment, and then the hills for hill sprints, which look so steep.
As he has admitted, were poorly designed, and he got the angles wrong.
I did see one person using them.
I did. One girl who nearly died coming down them. I saw a girl nearly fall coming down them, which is so funny to watch. Yeah, I can see how that would happen. But then as well as that, you've got the 2 basketball courts. So like you were saying, people will hang around for longer than they need to because it's a nice place to be. But I think that culture of, there's no point refuting that there's going to be people recording with mics, doing their bits.
Yeah.
They're in gym 2.
Yeah.
And the nicest thing about that is they get it, and you kind of know where the line is, which is everyone's going to be filming, so don't bitch about a tripod.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be filming, so you feel way more comfortable filming your shit and being mic'd up if you need to. I mic'd up once in there while seeing 3 other people mic'd up and being I don't give a fuck. I'm way more comfortable.
Yeah.
I can't do it at Dream. I feel so uncomfortable. I'm the only person doing it.
And that's not at Dream. It's just
not at all. It's the culture of people don't do it so much.
It's just because we train at Dream.
Exactly. But, I just use the gym example.
Yeah, that's the same at any.
That would feel fucking weird.
No, at any gym in the UK, really.
Yeah, literally any gym, I think.
But it's very much so clearly it was created with influencers or fitness personnel in mind, and it's an environment where they can do their thing.
And I think obviously there's still a line of where I think that sort of behaviour is good or bad. But I think you've got to appreciate a lot of people in there, it is their job. It's my job to make content, end of. It's not really debatable. So trying to facilitate that, I loved.
And if you don't like it, you can go to one of the other gyms. And this is the great thing, is that Gym 1 is really well equipped. It's not like you're losing out necessarily.
Yeah, exactly.
You can train in any of them, really.
Only thing I'll say is the benches in Gym 1 were a bit shit.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the rack height actually was the issue for me. I could have gotten away with the rest of it.
Yeah.
The rack height didn't go low enough because they're a bit more bodybuilding gym benches. And then that's the other thing I'll say is because there's money in fitness in America. In the UK, there's a bit, but there's money in America. One of the things that, it doesn't make me laugh because I respect why, and I agree. Gymshark opening a gym was, oh my God, it's crazy. Yeah. This is the best gym ever. It's not that good.
I would say that it's probably better than a lot of gyms.
It's better than 90% of England.
Yeah, which is a low bar.
There we go. Yeah, that's my point, which is why I was we have low standards. This is the first good gym we have, really. And there's other little bits, I know, Nathan trains at, is it called Hunters?
Oh, yeah.
And they've got some powerlifting kit and some pretty lights on the ceiling, and they're oh my God, cool gym. And I'm don't get me wrong, that's sick for England, that's really, really good. But my point is, in America, they have so much money in fitness, and people who are really big influencers who have big incomes, who are building these crazy gyms, that the facilities are so well equipped.
Yeah.
Even the maintenance of Alphaland. Bear in mind, that place brings in... how many figures is that? 8 figures now?
I don't know.
He must be, he's on late 7s, so he's on hundreds of millions between his projects. Yeah. So the money that goes into maintenance of kit, updating things, getting new bits in, I know he puts so much time into moving stuff around. The amount of staff
that they have at that gym as well.
Every gym had at least 3 people on the desk that I saw as rotation.
Yeah, so you walk in and immediately you've got all
I did by the wall.
How?
It's so far away. I leant back already.
What was I going to say? So you walk in and there's the retail section, and you've got a good couple of people. You've got people who literally only work in the retail section.
Yeah.
If you're going
left
to retail,
side, there were
left side,
2 or 3 people on the retail desk.
Right hand side is gym. So you can't go. You have to go to the appropriate
side. And I saw at least 1, normally 2 to 3 on the reception part.
Yeah.
And then Alpha Eats. There's 2 people usually, obviously chef in the back, but 2 people you could see on the front. And then you go to Gym 1, and it's got its own mini reception bit.
Stands.
Yeah, that has all of your drinks, all
pre-workout,
of pre-workout, snacks, water, whatever. Yeah. Squares bars, but every single one has been labelled. That was cool. Did you see that?
No.
So you could there's a white speech bubble, and you can write with pen, and they're written on every squares bar, go smash your workout, PB day, stuff like that on every single one. And then the next gym has a concession stand,
Yeah.
same thing again,
Yeah.
and there's 2 or 3 people. So that's like, so far, like 11 people
And
on
then there's
shift.
people who just walk around doing maintenance, like the towels, and obviously the bathrooms.
And I want you to know, if you're one of the people who, and like there will be people who think this, if you hear this and go, well, that's just OTT, I'm just there to train. I just want you to know you're a fucking dick and you're missing the point.
Yeah.
Like I hate it so much. But I think like, so that scale makes a big impression and makes you feel like you're at a business as well. You're there to take it seriously.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not there just to go do some curls and
I mean,
go.
obviously Alphaland is something pretty special. And even in America, it's like the biggest, like...
Well, we went to, there's a random, I can't remember which shop I was at. Maybe it was just a 7-Eleven. And they were like, oh, where are you from? Your accent. I said England. And I was like, I'm here just to visit Alphaland. She was like, you'll be amazed how many people just come through here just to see that.
Oh, really?
And it wasn't even close to Alphaland. It was when we were like somewhere else. And she'd heard of it and she knew of it. No, it was when I was at a Starbucks, I think, getting a coffee.
Right.
In that little town. Do you remember the bit we went with Legier on the last day? For food, we went for dinner in that little... Sugarland.
Yeah.
You know when we stopped for a Starbucks?
Yeah.
She even knew about it, which is like a good gym culture of like, even in the local community, they know of it,
Yeah.
which is quite cool. So I think that scale of it matters. The culture was a big thing. And then also, one of the things that's not in the gyms is the, what's the wording for this? The facilitation of fitness lifestyle. So like 0-calorie drinks, Monsters, Ghost energy drinks, protein drinks, protein snacks.
Oh my god, some of the snacks we had were amazing.
Every place we went though, like take small things like I know this isn't fitness, but vegan food like options at a supermarket.
Yeah.
You getting giggly down that aisle of how big that vegan section was.
Yeah.
Like there's just such a facilitation for like actual healthy lifestyles.
Yeah.
Getting a protein bar, Quest bars at every 7-Eleven,
Everywhere.
every single place we went to.
I think I was able to get a protein bar practically anywhere that we went.
And which is mad. Like you genuinely struggle at places in England.
Yeah.
And I'll say like in America, you often say to me like being vegan isn't actually that hard. Like there's actually a lot more options. I'll say in America I believed you even more. Where I'd be like,
the only thing that was harder was that at restaurants their menus they weren't very good at labelling things. But just going into a store, very easy.
It's weird that wasn't like normal though to like actually label it as vegan.
Yeah, it was weird. It was quite common that we'd be looking at places to go and I'd look at the menu.
I reckon one of the reasons for that is actually because in America you can do a lot of the I'd like this out, this in.
Yeah.
And you can kind of get dishes changed way more. In England they're like, just buy it or don't. Like leave me alone.
Like we're not changing that.
Okay, so what else for fitness? Gatorade.
Gatorade, I miss it.
I genuinely miss it.
It's so good. And we needed that. Like we needed the electrolytes because of the heat.
So it's just an electrolyte drink, but there's a 0-calorie option.
Yeah.
I got the full one a couple of times in the gym, but it's just like
loads of flavours.
It's our Volvic water, flavoured water, but it's better. And getting that was genuinely something I enjoyed.
Yeah, same.
We got it every time we went to the desert, when we went out for a hike.
Oh, we ended up like after the first few times getting it, we were like, let's just get a big multi-pack and stick it in the fridge because
we did
we'll
2
drink it every
multi-packs
day.
of 6 of them.
Yeah.
And we still got through all of them. And I would have them just day to day because they were really good.
Yeah, even like when we were in Palm Springs, we went up the aerial tramway and we got to the top and where it was just
Gatorade.
We'd been in the heat. We were like, let's get Gatorade.
But again, that's what I mean. Like just having it around. And I'll say, like, I felt. Like you've seen me in Vienna when we went to the best gym in the world.
Yeah.
And I'll say Alphaland for me was better. Not as a powerlifting gym, but like it was just it's better.
Experience overall.
And like I get really passionate about a lot of this stuff. Like I get genuinely emotional. I know I'm a bit weird, but I genuinely get emotional. And I adored that trip for what it kind of reminded me of and the things that I get bitter about in England.
Yeah.
It was really validating to be like, no, it's possible, it's real.
Yeah.
It can be done.
I'm not just pining after something that's not real.
Because also sometimes I seem like I'm just like talking nonsense about community and culture and so on. And then I see it and I'm like, this is what I'm trying to make. Because I would say DBD is that. Like DBD supports each other.
Yeah.
You see like a really good example is like Kaylee, Chloe, Katie, Tina, like the group who they really support each other. That is I'll call it the American culture, but I believe it's the culture of powerlifting that is very much real. And it was really nice to be around that just for a bit and to make random friends and meet people quite quickly.
Yeah, it was really nice.
And I've been pretty transparent about I really want to coach more in America.
Yeah.
And it's not just Picket Land, don't get me wrong, it's definitely a factor of they don't bat an eyelid at reasonable cost for coaching because as a coach, I hate it. I hate feeling like I should offer the cheapest option possible, because that's nonsense. But it's that culture that I want to be. I love being around.
Yeah.
And I want to cultivate more.
And I genuinely think that culture, like, people succeed more.
What else would you say was big things of the American culture that impacted training?
I don't know. But I was going to say, I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't make it to corrupted strength, but we had we'd visited it because we had heard or seen through reviews that it wasn't air conditioned. It was so hot and so humid. We were like, we got to see where the aircon is at.
Context, it was 34 degrees the day we went to look, and we'd just trained. I'd had a bad session from how hot it had been.
I couldn't believe how much it just
I was soaked in sweat and I felt exhausted.
And we thought, let's just go and see what it's like. And it was so hot and humid and
we'd gone at like 6:30, 7 p.m.
Yeah, so when it's cooler as well. And we were just like, I don't think we can do this.
I think training in there would have been a cool, just to say you had, but I was like, I'm not the guy that cares enough. I want to have a good training session.
Yeah, because I know a couple of people were disappointed that we didn't go, but trust me, like we went and visited it, and it was just so unbelievably hot that we would have passed out.
It was like, I don't appreciate I'm not getting aircon because we're a real gym. I literally saw that poster and was like,
oh really?
Twat.
It's
get
just
aircon, because
honestly, it's dangerous.
And it doesn't even have to be like a full aircon unit. Even just better fans in there would have been appreciated. But
yeah, because I don't even think Barbell Brigade, I don't think they had air conditioning on, but they had huge fans.
And the one open door for it, and that was just a tin can.
It was still hot, but it wasn't anywhere near as bad. The humidity was way lower.
So let's go negatives.
Negatives.
Bad things about the fitness and gym community, the vibe in America by comparison. Because we're supposed to do pros and cons, and we've been all positive.
I don't know if it'd just be generalising.
All of this has been generalised.
No, that one guy who, like, I don't know if it was his girlfriend, but you let her work in with you.
Yeah.
And then you were saying, like, oh, what do you want next? Then he came over, and then he was like, just load this. I was like, do you mean please?
I was like, I don't remember working for you, you little dickhead.
Like, don't get me wrong, we were loading and unloading, but there was no offer to help, and he just told you what to load next.
Yeah, she didn't help with a single one. She didn't help load once.
And then, so she was maxing out, right?
Yeah.
And I saw her do her second to last squat, and I was like, oh, she ain't got the next one, like, respectfully.
Like 2.5 more maybe.
Yeah. And then she disappeared for ages.
20 minutes. And she was working with me, and then we'd loaded it, and I was like, I am waiting to bench now. Like, I let you work in, be respectful. 20 minutes later, he comes over and like, no, we're waiting. I was like, I could do my whole bench in this time. Like, and then she came back and failed it, and then didn't offer to take stuff off the bar.
Yeah, and she was really upset about failing it.
And I think that's one of the things is, like, when you get a bigger pool of people, statistically, you're going to get more characters.
Yeah.
And I would call someone like, and I've used the name before, so I'm not too fussed about it, Russell Orhe, I would say, is a character in the sense of, I think he's a dick. I think he's a phenomenal lifter. I think he does a lot for powerlifting. I think he's a dick, which is fine. Like, don't have to like everyone.
Yeah.
Why am I defending this? I don't care. But there's going to be more people like that who are very strong characters in each gym.
I think as well, the guy, he seemed, I don't know. But you get that everywhere, honestly. Like, you get that in the UK. That's not exclusive to America.
No, but I think you're going to get statistically more of them.
Because there are more people
Exactly.
in general.
In the same way with one of the things that I'll say is, it's not a negative because, like, alphaland facilitated it, but you're going to get so many more people filming, so much more social media stuff, more tripods around, more of that culture.
Yeah.
Which some people won't like.
No, they
And
won't.
I get that they won't like that. Which is fair.
Which is fine. And I would say that in the majority of the gyms that we went to, it was a younger community.
True.
I don't remember seeing many people in their, like, 40s plus. It was a young community. I don't know whether that's just because in general powerlifting is more popular amongst younger people, or whether it is like alphaland. I can see why a 50-year-old woman going through the menopause might not want to be in that gym.
Yeah.
You know,
there probably are other gyms for her.
Yeah.
There's Planet Fitness. Because one of the things that I will say as well, like, if you, so like the culture of, like, I could be here all day, train for 4 hours, which is sick. in a scale gym that big that there's enough kit.
Yeah.
If you were that person, and there must be, statistically, there are smaller gyms that have powerlifting kit. If you're still doing that, you are fucking annoying. Like if I went to Dream and someone was on that squat rack for an hour and a half, like I'll be on there for 30, 40 minutes and that's long enough.
Yeah.
If someone's on there for an hour and a half, I'd be like, can you fucking leave? Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And I've waited for people for long times and that's wound me up. The American culture of like, I am training, so I'll take my time. I respect that. It's a gym.
Yeah. But I think as well, the sort of the type of people in the gyms that we went to, it was either that they worked in fitness or they had a lifestyle where they could spend that long.
And that's
in the
why
gym.
they were in gyms like that.
Yeah. Or again, it's the sport, it's the community. They're spending longer there because of that, on top of their everyday jobs and stuff.
Do you overall prefer being in America to train, or the American gym culture?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we went to Barbell Brigade, we just so happened to turn up on the day where it was their 10th anniversary. So we went in and we were like, oh, can we get a 5-day pass, please? And they were like, oh, yeah, are you guys coming back for the party later? And we were like, what party? And it just happened to be their 10th anniversary without us realising. And they were having like tacos and drinks and then a couple competitions. And the guy, the receptionist, he was so nice.
He was lovely. I spoke to him.
I've
I've got him on Instagram now.
He was like, oh yeah, Bart's going to be here, so you can meet Bart. And you were like, oh my God.
I got a little bit giddy about that,
You
I'll
did.
be honest.
And so we trained, went off for a little bit, got some food and then came back. And at the very last second, I decided to join in the deadlift knockout competition. Like I hadn't written my name down, but at the last second I decided to do it. Wouldn't usually because I wouldn't want to interfere with my training, but it was the end of a block. So I was like, if you're going to do it, now's the only time. And the atmosphere in that room was, and this was just it wasn't even a proper competition.
That gym only, and it's only that birthday party that evening, and whoever was there.
The atmosphere was better than any competition I've ever been to in the UK.
Minus the DVD Open.
Yeah.
Unequivocally.
Yeah.
But I completely agree. Like
I watched back the videos and I didn't realise at the time how many people were like screaming and shouting for me. And I'm like, they don't know me.
They were invested from 60 kilos on.
Oh yeah.
That's mad.
Yeah. It's honestly crazy. Like what you'd hear people say and how they were cheering for weights that, you know, I'd probably consider fairly light. It was just insane.
It was really nice. And like, obviously you got to win that. And I took part with the guys, and there's so many men who wanted to do that competition.
There were like 5 girls, and then there were like 20 guys.
Literally. But they were a really good group.
They were.
There was no dickhead. There was one guy who just didn't talk to anyone, but he was actually the guy who won. He didn't chat.
Yeah, he was in the zone.
Yeah,
he
which
had
was
his
a
headphones
bit
on.
much for me, but I respect it.
But like me and the other girls, we were all fist bumping each other, like in between attempts.
I really thought you were going to say something.
we were all
We were all just fisting each other.
No.
Oh, fucking hell. But yeah, that vibe. Like, I know I've spoken to...
genuinely wanting to see each other succeed.
I've spoken to Cleo a lot about, like, she struggles with underground environment. And I was like, I get it. And there's not much we can do to fix it. Can't go to many places.
No.
I do want to go to Southampton Barbell more, because it's more of a powerlifting gym and there's a nice little environment there. And there's a couple of gyms around England that are a bit better. But I've said to her, like, I'll go back out to America for a few months, and she's been like, I'll come out and join you for a while, which I love, because when you know what you're missing, it's very hard to not think about it and be very aware of it.
Yeah.
And just spending a week, 3 days, we went to Barbell Brigade.
We trained there 3 days.
Broke my heart to leave, where I was like, I actually love it here, and I would love to be there more.
Yeah, I genuinely and again, this is no dig at the gym that we train at, because it is better.
And they do a very good job of trying to facilitate what the group is.
But if that is the good, it's pretty poor in the UK overall. And
you can't blame that that's not what they facilitate, because they're just a gym. They're not a powerlifting gym.
No.
But it's really hard to not have that.
I think as well, you know, I said about like they just genuinely want to see each other succeed. I don't see that in the UK. I don't.
No.
Like people are not nice. They want to see you fail. They don't want to see you doing well.
Oh, I definitely think there's a lot of that for me.
Yeah. And like I remember the guys, when you were deadlifting, the guys being really impressed by you, because some of those guys were huge.
Well, the two guys I was left deadlifting with were like 120 plus lifters.
Yeah.
And it was just me and those two.
Yeah.
But they were really nice to be with. And they're genuinely being like, you can go do a bit more, like that's really sick. And being like, you're trying to win a thing. And I remember saying to the guy, like, I don't think I do very well. And he's like, it doesn't matter if you win, let's just go like deadlift for a bit.
Oh yeah, the girl it came down to me and one other girl. She wanted to win. She absolutely wanted to. She won the bench.
But shouting for you on the last deadlift. And very supportive of you winning.
Absolutely. And like came up to me afterwards. And
good sportsman.
Yeah.
God, actual good sportsmanship. Like, fuck you. Oh, it's so good to see.
It would have been so easy for like people to be like, who's this bitch? She doesn't even go here.
None of them knew you, so no one had to cheer for you. No one had to be nice to you.
No.
They didn't have to. And in England, genuinely, I see people lift, and if it's the one you don't know, you sit in the audience, you just watch in silence, and I know that lifting.
Yeah.
I remember going to a British men's nationals. It would have been 2019, and the women and this is no disrespect to a certain gender. The women were in the morning, the men were in the afternoon, or certain weight classes of them. The women all lifted, got their medal ceremony, and then all went home.
Yeah.
After the men had sat there all day and supported them.
Yeah.
And then the men, I shit you not, there were 10 people left in the crowd, and there were me, and back then it was Jacob, who were at the side of the platform going nuts for every lifter to try to create an environment.
Yeah.
There, these people were at a birthday party, they would have been bored, they didn't know you, they don't
People
care.
could have just stayed sat outside eating tacos.
Which were free, and they were very good. But yeah.
Everyone came in.
A real support.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that I'm going to miss. And I find it really hard. I've been pretty vocal about the fact that like when I train in England, I don't get supported. I love everyone and I appreciate everyone around it, but either I coach them and it's about their training, or they just don't care what I'm doing. Like there's not many people actually that invested in me lifting. I felt even in America when I was just doing bits, there was more investment in me from complete strangers than I've received in England.
Yeah, and I mean like the week that we were in LA, so at Barbell Brigade, we were on like week 1. So nothing that interesting.
Mad,
but still, yeah.
Anyway, well, I think that's enough.
So we're moving to America.
I genuinely have voiced the idea.
Yeah.
And I kind of mean it, that I would like to leave England.
Yeah.
At least for an amount of time.
I really would think I'd like to do an extended trip. Obviously, a lot of stuff comes down to visas as well.
Well, it also comes down to the problem being those gyms are amazing, but I wouldn't want to spend 3 months in LA, Houston or Philly.
Especially in that heat.
The heat I'd live with. It's 3 months in Houston, what are you going to do?
No, it's so boring.
There's nothing else there. I'd just live at alphaland.
We went into the city and it was a ghost town. Like an actual ghost town.
Really weird.
It was really weird. It was a Sunday, but it's quite unusual for everything to be closed on a Sunday.
What do we do in fucking Bognor? Like, why would we want to be in Bognor for the next 3 months?
Yeah, true.
Houston v Bognor? Oh, okay, Houston's not too bad. But LA for 3 months, I'd be like, like, it's cool. That wouldn't be a bad place to be by any means, but 3 months there for a gym would feel a bit wasteful because it'll cost thousands.
Yeah, but good weather.
True.
Yeah.
So, okay, right now we're going to end the podcast with, do you want to do...
Do you want to move to America?
a number of months in America next year?
Yeah.
How many months?
2.
2 months. I might do 3. 2 months in America. Where would you pick?
It's difficult because obviously if you went to one place you can like settle down and settle into a life. But I feel like there's so many opportunities, so many different places that you can go and experience that you'd be wasting time just staying in one place. What
I would say, based off because I would pick Houston for alphaland because it'd be the best for me for business and training, but I would pick LA, 3 months in LA because we could visit San Diego, we could visit along the coast on weekend trips, and we could do a couple of months out there.
Well, Silent Mike was talking about Sacramento, wasn't he?
Yeah, and Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
And in America, there's one of the things that I do love as well. I'm not going to keep going on because we'll keep talking all day. But it's like the culture of like, I'm going to go visit X. It's like 8 hours away, and they're like, it's just a weekend trip.
Yeah.
And one thing I realised, so like if I said to you now, do you want to go to Brighton tonight? You'd be like, it's like an hour drive there, like an hour drive back.
Yeah.
We did that every fucking day out there.
We did.
We did like 40 minutes to the gym, no question.
I don't think you would survive LA traffic for that long though.
I'd go fucking mental.
Yeah.
I'd probably just live closer, but I'd just have somewhere closer to Barbell Brigade and then travel out elsewhere.
Yeah.
Right, that's it. We're moving to America. If this is the podcast, this is the last English episode. And then you and I are going to, I don't know what episode we're on now. The next episode is going to be the Me 1 Part 2 about Me 1 Part 2? The Me episode Part 2 about competition life and training and all that stuff.
Yes.
If you have any questions you want me to talk about on that one, let me know. Otherwise, thank you for doing this one with me.
Yes.
Any lasting words?
Where's the next gym trip? Like abroad?
We're going to Berlin with Cleo. To Berlin Strength.
Yeah.
Which is a cool gym. I've been there before. And then we're going to go skiing for your birthday. Probably nothing specific out there.
Yeah, probably not training out there.
The other trip I want to do is Norway next year. Ooh. And we'll have to find out if there are any gyms out there.
Oh, I think that's going to be tricky.
Sounded like you did a poop. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. America. USA.
And I'm leaving it there.